So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably work a little bit outside to inside. I'm gonna work from the least risk to the most risk. Reason being is that I want the most risk at the end of my project so that I can clean up fairly efficiently. And the least risk is just because it starts to kind of bring in a containment piece. So if you look, poison ivy actually grows kind of in all sorts of different ways. But I'm gonna try and film kind of how I remove it. Some of it's gonna come up really easily, like almost just lifting it right off the ground, particularly because it's sitting in a mulch bed. Things like mulch beds and pine come off, you know, fairly efficiently. The harder part is when you're in dry gardens that are not loomy at all, and the soil's turned very, very hard, or it has a lot of sun during the day. So we're gonna actually try and put this back. So hopefully when we work towards the tree, some of this will release fairly efficiently, and we're gonna bag actually as we go along today. So I'm gonna start with this little tool. Let's see if you guys can see this. Okay, so here's poison ivy vine. Okay, touching it with gloves isn't gonna bother me at all. And this just kind of digs right underneath the surface. And you can see how quickly that actually comes out, okay? Each one of these leaves has a node on it, and that's really what I'm targeting to dig out. The aerial roots, which are the pieces between the two sides, let me just put this so you know. I'll show you the difference, okay? There's a great example. So each one of these is a node, okay, where each leaflet's coming out. You're also gonna notice it alternates. But this aerial root is really not a concern. Its benefit to me is that it shows me where the rest of the vine is. But if this little piece were left under the ground, this is not gonna regrow. However, if the node, which is right here, where the leaf is, that is going to regrow. So this is why I really target getting these out. And I can see by the way this is actually sprawling, this is gonna be pretty effective today, so. You know, you don't wanna have a big chunk in your hand. That stuff that's gonna snap back at you. This is probably an isolated leaf. Right there, okay? Little baby, looks almost like a little carrot root. But there's so much seed here. We're gonna run into vines and the carrot root. And maybe even some maple. You know, and if you end up having to cut an aerial root and it's kind of grounded in there, chances are you're gonna actually find it on another side from another plant. So don't feel stressed if that breaks. You wanna just do your best. Don't lose your tools. Again, just a weed, but I'm just gonna get rid of it so it's not in my way. One of the things about weeds, other stuff that are in your way, plants, seedlings that are kind of taken off, you don't want them to blow your soup, right? So you want to kind of keep things fairly organized. even though I cut these off early, I can see that I've got vine. I'm going to go ahead and follow. Now what I do with this poison ivy, a lot of people ask me, how do I dispose of it? At the end of this, what I do is I actually zip tie the top. That indicates to me, one, it's just poison ivy, but it just goes into regular refuse. It's basically going to suffocate in here and die. And so that's kind of how I handle it, and it can go into your regular trash. All right, I'm gonna pause for a while, and then in a few minutes, I'll put this back on and we'll see how far I got. Okay, that's all dug out. Again, we're moving towards the tree. So we still have this left to go. It's been about 2 hours, and it's actually going quite well. So this is gonna be a beast, however. But I think we're gonna have to trim down below, let everything die up top, and hopefully it'll stop strangling the tree because it won't be able to grow. One of the challenges is, of course, getting these vines that are actually crawling up into the tree. I'm going to actually target those kind of next. And, you know, basically I kind of work from outside coming in, because sometimes those vines will just pull right out. And of course you have to trim back some of those extra branches that might just be in your way or tear up your suit. So you can see I've cleared up to the tree. You can see also how complicated these roots are. We still have the other side to go, but this is kind of how I approach a tree. That way I can cut up everything right up to the edge. And then when I've cut the actual tree, you know, stumps and vines, hopefully I can pull out. And a lot of the times they'll sort of meet in the middle. Sometimes you still have to continue with the dig out. That's a node right there. Just a guess. Look at that node though. Right there. Okay, I think that's as good as I can get it. So, just to show you how gnarly this looks, and sometimes they're a lot bigger than this. So there we go. All that, you can see how it's sagging right there. Still quite alive right there. That's gonna start to sag by tomorrow. By tomorrow, those are gonna look ridiculous. Super sad. Because they've got no energy source. And of course, we just dug out all the roots.